Hope we're good. All right. Wednesday, arm day. Make this kind of a short intro. I did a grocery haul today. You guys should go watch that. It's really short. It's only 4 minutes long. Shortest one yet. But I'm gonna make this short because I wanna get in there. I got my dynamic stuff to do, my mobility and rolling out a little bit. Then we're gonna jump into an arm day. I'm not gonna video any of the mobility stuff because again, that's boring. And if I'm gonna do that, I'm just gonna make it a completely separate video where I'm like talking to the camera the whole time. So yeah, yeah, we just jump into arms. I think we're just gonna do. I don't know how many sets we're gonna do. I think maybe a total of like 15. I don't know, somewhere in there. So yeah, we'll just jump to that. I don't really want to drive because I want to kind of get in the zone here. Something pump me up a little bit because I'm tired. So all right, we'll just jump into some arms. Just get into it. Get it going. Let's go light squeezing set now. Okay, we went out. Took forever. But, okay. Oh yeah. Okay. That was a good workout. Last day. Technically, it's the last day of the cut, I guess, but the last like few days have just kind of been me like having like a maintain. Oh my gosh, maintaining. I lost it. It's. Anyways, that was a great workout. Looks good. Felt good. I got some good videos. I hope. I'm pretty sure. I watched some of them, but no, yeah. But yeah, I feel good. You know, this is the official last day of the cut. Is what I was trying to say. It just didn't come out. Um, the last like week or so, we've been kind of like a maintenance calories. So like we gained a little bit, but not too much. And now we're going full swing with the bulk. We're going to be doing, since we're training so much, we have to have pretty high carbs. Like we're going to be training somewhere between 7 and 8 times a week. So, and our only rest day is going to be on Sundays. So, like it's going to get, because of that, you got to up your carbs so you recover a little bit better. And like you have that energy, right? The energy to use. So we're doing about 500 grams of carbs, 200 grams of protein. I might up that to like 220, 230, and then 90 or 85 grams of fat, which comes out to about 3,700 calories, which is definitely doable. What I was doing before, when I bulked up to 100 kilos, I was eating 4,220 calories, and the fat was at like 140. It was way too high. So, you know, we lowered the fat way down. A lot of the food we bought is very lean foods. You know, so it's very carb heavy, very protein heavy. But you know, you want a carb heavy diet because, especially if you're training this hard. I don't know the exact reasons, but you want a carb heavy diet. I'll look up the reasons and I'll figure that out. But you want a carb. You know, that's why runners, you know, they carbo load or whatever they say. It's the same thing. You know, that's energy. So yeah, I thought I looked really good today. I didn't do any posing with for YouTube. I'm gonna put that on like Instagram and TikTok because like YouTube, your landscape, everything else, your portrait. I don't. It's can probably discern that yourself, but I don't much have a topic today other than you need fucking carbs. Don't let all these motherfuckers like carnivore diet motherfuckers, all these people tell you don't need carbs. You need carbs. Like, you know, no, that's so stupid. Do I know exactly why? No, but I know you need fucking carbs. I'll do my research on that. I have a lot of that stuff. Like, I learn why, and then I just completely forget why. But I know that this is how it is, and what I learned made it obvious to me that this is how it is. But then I forget the exact reasons. So bear with me. But no, maybe that's what I'll talk about. Thinking for yourself. Because right there, that was me just like what it sounds like was me not thinking for myself and just taking everything as law. Kind of, a little bit. But one of my favorite people to watch on YouTube is Joe Bartolozzi. Everyone knows him. You know, great guy. I like his, you know, philosophy stuff, and one of the big things he talks about is thinking for yourself. And I think that is so important, especially nowadays with social media and all this stuff coming out. And like, you have to think this way. And even your parents set this precedent from the day you're born. Is we are your parents, and we get to tell you what to do, right? Which is true to a certain extent, right? You got to teach your kid how to behave and how to act the right way, and how to be respectful and responsible. But a lot of parents, you know, they raise their kid to only think one way, like politically, for example. If you grow up, most people who grow up in a predominantly conservative home are gonna be conservative because that's all they know, right? Same thing with the liberal home. You grow up in a liberal home, that's kind of gonna be all you know, right? And a lot of people, they just get these ideas in their heads, like, well, this is how I was raised, and this is my way of thinking, and I'm not going to change that. And they're stubborn on it, right? And they don't. As soon as you try to bring up a different idea or some sort of different way of thinking, they shut down and just get pissed off and stop listening, right? So many people do that on both sides. Like, people just shut down and they can't have a conversation anymore, right? And that's just because it's so wired into them, and they've only been taught this certain way, and anything different, your body doesn't like change. And it doesn't matter if that's physical or mental. Your body isn't inviting, your brain isn't inviting to change, right? There's that saying where it's like the brain will choose a known evil rather than an unknown something, or an unknown paradise, or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, you as humans, we just automatically kind of fear change, and we fear the unknown. And so when people bring up different sides and different ideas and different ways of looking at things, a lot of us shut down and we just go, no, that's stupid, whatever. I'm right, I need to be right. And this pride kind of takes over this, and I think a lot of that is because from so early on, we're just taught to think this way, taught to, well, our parents think this way, so we're going to think this way, right? How many people have heard their parents say, like, your parents ask you to do something, you go, why? And they're like, because I'm your mom. And then don't argue with me, right? Or like, they'll tell you to do something, you're like, well, why do I have to do that? I'm your dad. You have to do it. I'm telling you to do it. Listen. Like I said, to a certain extent, that does need to happen, and like, you do need to teach your kids to listen, but like, so it's just so ingrained in us to kind of follow, that idea and that way of thinking, right? And or like like when you tell someone to do something, and they're like, why? And then you're like, because I said so, right? That's not giving them a reason. That's not letting them know why you're asking them to do this, right? You're not letting them think for yourself. And I think a lot of people, they just don't. They stick on one side, like, whether it's a lot of it is social media. Like, they stick on one side of social media because this is what they know, and this is what they think, right? This is what they've always known, and they've never known any other way, and so they stick to that side because it's safe, and they agree, and it's easy to agree with something and not try to have to see someone else's point of view, right? And so, that's just, then they just feed into that idea, and they get more hardened and more closed off to other ways of thinking, other ways of viewing things. And, you know, thinking for yourself is being like inviting conversation, inviting different points of view, inviting a different training method, whether it's like, you know, adding in concentrics, like into your lifts, adding in length and partials, right? People get so fired up about that stuff, and it's like, well, just listen. Like, okay, this is why you think that. I think this, but maybe I'll try this. Try it out for yourself. Then, you know, I don't know. I'm kind of going off the rails here. This is pretty incoherent at this point. But all I'm saying is, you know, make your own opinions. And, you know, when it pertaining to the gym is so personalized, right? It's so about what works for you and what keeps you coming into the gym and keeps you trying to better yourself and better your life and trying to do hard things that aren't that easy and make you feel good afterwards, give you that natural dopamine and that natural feeling of gratitude and that natural feeling of accomplishment, right? Like that's what going to the gym, working out is about. It's about, you know, giving yourself that sense of accomplishment and that sense of, okay, I am working hard and I'm doing something, right? I am accomplishing something. I am doing something that not everyone is even able to do, right? You, whether it's Pilates, whether it's bar, whether it's yoga, whether it's freaking the drum stuff, like I think that stuff is so dumb, but if someone is going and they're getting in there and they're working out and they're getting into shape and they're getting socialization, like who cares how dumb I think it is, right? It works for you and it is working for you, right? That went all over the place, but you know, just think for yourself, find your own, you know, opinions, find out what works specifically for you, personalize the gym. Like you are at the gym for to better yourself, right? And you may be wanting to better yourself for other people, but at the same time, like it's for you, so find what works best, right? And you know, it does kind of change a little bit when it comes to your goals. Like when it does end up coming to your goals and like what you want to do in the gym, that's when it changes, and that's when it's like, okay, well, you kind of have, like, there are things you have to do that work. Like there's things that Pilates is going to do that bodybuilding is not going to do for you, right? So it's just all about your goals, and I'll probably talk about that next time. We'll talk about that next time. You know, how to personalize for your goals. This went on way longer than I meant it to, but tomorrow we got one video. Friday, good day. Hopefully it'll be a good day. That's the plan. My back feels good. I felt really loose today when I was doing my mobility, and I'm starting to see some real progress. But anyways, that's all I got. Um, yeah, I'll probably post this tonight. Maybe I'm lazy and I'll post it tomorrow morning, but we'll see. All right.